Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and hope you had a great new year. Now, what would you do if I told you there's a way to avoid paying tax to the government? Would you say that's tax evasion? That's illegal? Well, so would I, mainly because it is. However, stay with me today because what we're going to look at is ways to legally avoid paying tax in the UK through the use of ISAs, individual savings accounts. Right guys, thanks for joining me, and my name's Ben and I'm here today to talk about some investment opportunities and mechanisms, namely ISAs for the UK. So in the UK we have multiple tax saving mechanisms for individuals to save money. These are through the individual savings accounts, also known as ISAs. For our American viewers it is ISA rather than ISA. I'm aware that you have your IRAs, which is the US equivalent in the United States of America. However, here in the UK, I experience different connotations when I hear the words IRA because it has a very different meaning here in the UK. However, if you would like, you can refer to our ISAs as ISAs if it's easier. So, for those of you that aren't aware, ISAs are individual savings accounts that we have available as a mechanism for using as a tax wrapper for any investments that we may want to use. There are certain restrictions to these, and I'm going to go over that briefly and over the actual different accounts themselves shortly. So, an ISA is a way of putting money into an account, and then any profits you gain from that, whether it's through interest or capital gains, anything like that, is all tax-free and entirely yours. You don't have to pay a penny to the government. In the UK, we do have multiple types of ISAs, and I'm going to be going over the main four that I hear talked about, which is the cash ISA, the stocks and shares ISA, the innovative finance ISA, and also the lifetime ISA, also sometimes referred to as a LISA. But before we go into the different individual ISAs, it's worth talking about the overall values of ISAs and how they can be applied. So, looking at the upcoming 2021 ISA allowances, they are staying the same as current, which is a total of £20,000 a year. What this means is that you can put up to £20,000 across all of your ISAs, and that is your limit. If you put any more than that, you will not qualify for tax savings on them, and there can be some ramifications for doing so. Most places that offer different form of ISAs have a cap on them, so that you can't put more than 20,000. However, the issue is you can have multiple ISAs open of different types at the same time, and they don't necessarily communicate with each other. So you do have to stay on top to make sure that you are putting your money in the right places at the right values. So as an example, you would be able to put £10,000 into your cash ISA and also £10,000 into your stocks and shares ISA. Though it is important to remember that when you take money out of your ISA, it does not reduce the amount that you can put in. So therefore, if you were to put in 15,000 into your cash ISA and then remove 5,000 of it, you've already used 15,000 of your limit and you only have another 5,000 remaining. You do not gain that 5,000 back. The way I try and imagine this is slightly like a post box. So imagine you have a post box and every pound you put through the post box is recorded. You have the ability to put up to £20,000 through the post box regardless of how much comes out of the post box. In the post box, there are multiple envelopes. These envelopes might be your cash ISA, your stocks and shares ISA, your innovative finance ISA, or your LISA. Each of these also have their own brackets and rules that you have to follow. So first of all, let's look at the cash ISA and how that works. So for the upcoming year, in your cash ISA, you can store up to £20,000. What this means is that any interest you make off of your cash ISA is completely tax-free. So if you're earning £4,000 in interest from your cash ISA, none of that goes to the government, you get to keep every penny. I, however, personally don't feel that the cash ISA is worth it for most people in the UK unless they're already earning high amounts of interest in their current accounts. This is because under current tax regulations, everyone has a personal savings allowance of £1,000 for the lower tax bracket or £500 for the higher tax bracket. Therefore, all of your accounts to a degree have a mini sort of tax wrapper anyway, so unless you're already earning over that tax allowance, there is no need for a cash ISA. However, If you are in the position where your current interest off of your current accounts and other accounts is earning more than your tax limit, so £1,000 for lower tax and £500 for the higher tax bracket, you can put up to £20,000 in this and get reasonable amounts of interest back depending on the account you've chosen. Alternatively, you may want to make your money work for you, which you can do through a stocks and shares ISA, which is personally what I do. You may have heard the stories of people that picked up Amazon shares at £50 a share, waited a fair few years, and then end up selling them for around £3,000. If you were to do that in a stocks and shares ISA, any of that capital growth between the 50 to the 3,500 is all of yours and you don't have to pay anything to the government. However, if you did that in a general investing account rather than an ISA, you would be paying a percentage of that capital growth. This ISA also has an individual cap of 20,000, which means you can put your total £20,000 per year allowance into a stocks and shares ISA. The other advantage of a stocks and shares ISA is that you also, any dividends or profits you make beyond capital gains is entirely yours. So if you've been able to invest a large amount in a company that is paying you out hundreds of pounds a year, that hundreds of pounds is always yours. You don't have to pay any of it to the government. This also includes multiple different types of investments such as stocks, bonds, and also REITs, which we don't have to pay tax on in the UK if they are within an ISA. The main difference between a ISA for stocks and shares and a normal investment account for stocks and shares is you are slightly limited on the stocks, shares, and items that you can purchase. The main example here would be some of the Chinese stocks and Japanese stocks, depending on the markets they're listed on. If you have a stocks and shares ISA, you will notice, for example, NIO, which is a company that has a lot of buzz at the moment, rivaling Tesla, is not available in your stocks and shares ISA. So you would have to buy that on a normal investment account. And therefore, you'd be paying a percentage of any profits you make from that buying and selling of those shares to the government. However, I personally feel that the available stocks that are in the ISA easily outweighs the need to pay for the interest on other stocks that aren't available. So personally, I'm fine with just investing in an ISA rather than having a separate investing account for other stocks not available within my ISA. So moving on, we also have the Innovative Finance ISA. This covers things such as peer-to-peer lending or crowdfunding debentures. Essentially, these are the options for you to loan people money, and then any interest you get on those loans are tax-free. Alternatively, a crowdfunding debenture is going out and buying the debt of a company for them to pay you back. Again, if you do this in your ISA, you gain all of the interest from that loan tax-free. This one would mainly be of interest of people that are already looking to do peer-to-peer loaning and similar sort of activities. So moving on to the last one on the list today, we will be talking about the Lifetime ISA. The Lifetime ISA I don't hear spoken about as often as the other ISAs. However, I feel there are a lot of perks to it that people need to be aware of, and it should be verbalised slightly more. So a Lifetime ISA has slightly more restrictions than the other ISAs. You only have a limit of £4,000 a year. What this means is you could put up to £4,000 in your Lifetime ISA, and then you've still got £16,000 to spread amongst other ISAs to make your £20,000 limit. There are also some additional caveats, such as you are under certain restrictions of how you can pull that money out without incurring a cost. These reasons are whether you are buying your first home. So if you're taking the cash out of your Lifetime ISA to buy your first home, you can do so without any cost penalty. If it's for your retirement and you are over the age of 60, you can also pull it out without any cost. Or if unfortunately you've been diagnosed with a terminal illness and with an estimated 12 months or less to live. The advantage of using a Lifetime ISA is if you are pulling this money out for any of those three reasons, the government will give you 25% of what has been invested. So if you were to put in £1,000, you would be getting £250 bonus from the government. And as we know, everyone likes free money. Generally, most of the Lifetime ISAs you will find are cash ISAs equivalents. So it is you put the money in and you can take the money out at the appropriate time. However, there are a few companies that do offer Lifetime ISA stocks and shares. I believe Vanguard has an option for that if you would like to invest in stocks and shares while also getting the 25% bonus, which may offset some of your losses in stocks if you are having a bad year. So personally, I would suggest looking into a Lifetime ISA if you are in the position of looking to buy your first home, or you are planning for your retirement and you know that you are not going to need to touch this money. because, as I've mentioned, unlike the other ISAs, you will be charged a cost penalty for removing the money before the appropriate times. So that's my brief overview of the ISAs for the UK for the upcoming year of 2021. It's worth highlighting that your ISA allowance renews on April the 6th, 2021, and you can only open one of each type of ISA per year. So therefore, if you've currently got a stocks and shares ISA open, such as I have, you would not be able to open a new ISA until the new year. However, you can continue just to use the same ISA if you would prefer. So, as an example of this, I currently have a stocks and shares ISA with Trading 212, which I opened within this tax year. Therefore, I would not be able to open a new ISA with a different company until the April the 6th, 2021. And it's worth remembering this, because if you go to a new platform that you haven't used before and you open an ISA with them and start investing, you are locked in with that broker until the end of the financial year. Otherwise, you'd have to use a normal investment account for another platform. My suggestion here is that if you're going to look at investing in any form of ISA, it's worth seeing if there is trial accounts, especially for stocks and shares. That way you can make sure that you know how the system works and you are happy with it prior to locking yourself into the ISA for the year. Personally, I use Trading 212 for my ISA investing. This is because it is one of the best zero commission investing platforms that I've found in the UK. And if you would like to check them out and start up an account prior to your ISAs being open so you can see if you like it, I have got a link down below, which if you sign up through there, you'll get a free share, and also I will as well. And as mentioned before, who doesn't like free money? In future videos, I will be going over all of the ISAs more in depth and covering more details for each of them. So please remember to subscribe so that you can keep up to date with those videos and the information as it comes available. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I really hope you take the time to subscribe and like the video, as it would really help me. My name's Ben, and thank you for watching. Have a good one.